They must stand in front of the mirror for 10 hours every night. They don't dare to close their eyes, even when they're tired, and their faces must always remain calm. Don't dare to have the slightest panic, because outside there is a group of mysterious alien creatures. The monsters gather in front of the mirror to imitate them. If anyone tries to resist, these monsters will tear them to pieces. There was once a man who fled this creepy forest, but no matter which way he ran, he'd end up right back where he started. And at night, the monsters come out in force. They tracked the escapee by scent and killed him. But Belle won't go on like this. She'd had enough of the fear, but every time she tried to take action, she stopped by an old woman with a lot of experience, because she had lived here for 20 years. She knows the ferocity of those monsters very well. Once they are angered, everyone will face the fate of being killed. But Belle only agreed on the surface. When it came time to go out in search of food, she would sit down and mark the trees, and return to the hut at night. She would pose in front of the mirror to please the monster. After countless days and nights of figuring things out, Belle finally knew her way around, and so on this day, she flushed out of the hut with a bird.
Where are you going? Home.
But to her surprise, the old woman didn't stop her this time, and that made her wonder. So she darted along the markings, praying to escape from the forest before night falls. And so she ran tirelessly, until a clearing loomed ahead, a mountain range stretching into the sky. It was then that Belle realized, even if she ran her legs off, there was no way she could escape in a day. Despair spread through her heart. Just then, the old woman suddenly appeared behind her. Belle had no choice but to go back. After experiencing this failure, she gradually accepted the reality of being trapped, started to obediently follow those rules. However, during an outing in search of food, she was grouped with the youngest, Tyrell. Along the way, Tyr kept complaining about the old woman. She was always directing them in a commanding tone. Belle had the bright idea to come up with a plan. She also started to say bad things about the old woman. After successfully drawing closer to Tyr, she came up with a bold hypothesis. They never really saw the monsters. It was all a lie made up by the old woman. Tyr listened with a glimmer of realization in his eyes. So driven by curiosity, they sneaked to the place where the monsters were hiding, facing the deep and mysterious cave. Belle did not feel the slightest fear. On the contrary, he was very excited. Eventually they all decided to take a chance. Tyrell pulled the rope at the entrance of the cave. Belle looked deep into the bottom of the cave. She moved down carefully, without incident along the way. When he finally reached the bottom of the cave, she was surprised to find it empty. There was no sign of monsters. Instead, there were many human tools scattered. Belle didn't think twice, picked some things that might be useful, using the rope to carry them up. Although he had already collected some items, but Belle was not satisfied and wanted to go deeper. But at that moment, a strange noise suddenly came from inside the cave. Belle called out for Tyrell. A weird hand slowly emerged from the cave.